I'm grateful to our technical wizards in the background. Oh, no, this is Harriet, who is sharing her slides now, and I'll hand the floor over to Harriet and Ben. Thank you.
Super, thanks Annie. Hello to everybody. Yeah, as Annie said, we're new entrant farmers in Aberdeenshire, and we've been farming now for just coming on to a year, well, just over a year actually. So just to talk about a bit more about how we got into farming ourselves. I'm a bit more traditional, like Alison and Robert, from a family farm in Aberdeenshire. I wasn't really pushed to go down to the agricultural route, so I went off to study geography at Aberdeen Uni. Then didn't really know what I wanted to do after uni, but somehow stumbled into helping out SAC with Ajax, and then I never left. I started training up as a farming consultant for them, worked for SAC for 3 years, and then 2 years ago moved to do a similar role at Strutton Parker down in Perth. And then Ben and I were lucky enough to be given the opportunity back up in Aberdeenshire on our current farm, so moved back up there.
I came from a different background, I suppose. My grandfather was a farm manager down in East Lothian and retired when I was very young. But from that stage of kind of 3 or 4, I always knew I wanted to be in the industry of farming and agriculture. So went through school, didn't have a lot of involvement in agriculture until I was about 14, where we did a work experience placement within school. Went and worked on the closest farm to home for 1 week and loved it. Really got into it, even although it was in February. It was a bit cold, grading potatoes and stuff. From that point, I managed to get summer work and weekend work on the farms, running about, helping out, up until I left school at 18. At that point, still wasn't 100% sure how I'd go about things, so I thought I would just go work in the industry. So I went and drove every machine I could, which every young guy likes to do, until the age of 20, at which point I went to study agriculture at SAC in Edinburgh. The practical side really helped me, not being from a farming background, that I'd obviously found some farmers that had patience and taught someone that wasn't from a farm how to drive a tractor and how to do the basics. And that really helped me get into the industry. That was probably the biggest barrier that a lot of other people probably see that aren't from a farming background. While studying at Edinburgh, there was only 2 of us on the course that weren't from farms, and the 2 of us kind of grouped together and bought a small sheep flock to try and get into business ourselves. So we had 40 ewes to begin with that were drafted down. We added value to this by doing lamb boxes straight to customers within Edinburgh and the Lothians, which was great from a learning point of view and a business. We built that up to maybe 100 sheep at one point. While I was also studying, I also got involved in a farm shop. So again, learning business, trying to add value to what we were doing, which again was great. So the idea was that I was getting paid to learn and get experience. After leaving college, after 4 years, I got offered a job with Agrovista as an agronomist, which was again another year getting paid to drive around the country and learn and get more skills, given a car and set off, which was fantastic. And then obviously met Harriet, and we tendered for quite a number of different contract farming agreements, leases, small bits of land. We were pretty unsuccessful with most of them, but while we were doing this, it allowed us to meet lots of new people and fine-tune any proposal or tender that we put in and improve it every single time, which was really useful. So I suppose you could talk about where we are now.
Yeah, so we farm in Aberdeenshire. It's on an SLDT, It's 150 hectares roughly in total, and we have 120 of that just more traditional combinable crops, winter wheat, oilseed rape, winter oats, and malting spring barley. You know, that's both our backgrounds is sort of in arable. We both have full-time jobs off farm, so it's just sort of to try and, you know, reduce our labour that's required on the farm. We also have 20 hectares of grass for a local anaerobic digestion plant. So again, you know, we rent that out, you know, at the beginning of the year, so we can sort of forget about it, and it's also good to keep grass within our rotation, so we like it for that as well. We also, the farm we're on is an old dairy farm, so there's quite a lot of shed space. When we heard we were successful for the tender, you know, we were like, what are we going to do with all this sheds? So spoke to a few local farmers and managed to secure a B&B contract for nursery pigs. So we have them for about 6 weeks, about 1,200 of them in a batch throughout the year. So it provides us with cash flow. We keep the straw on farm, you know, we get muck back for the arable enterprises. So it's really worked out really, really well, the nursery pigs. You want to speak about Leaf?
Yeah, so within 4 months of us taking on the farm, we got offered, or we managed to put an application in for Leaf, which was the Resilient and Ready programme. Our thoughts were, we didn't know a lot about it at the time, but we're a brand new business, and there's no better time to shape a business than at the start. And the ability that Leaf has to bring in specialists in all sorts of fields and lots of different people looking at our business was invaluable, really, to get us going and point us in different directions. And we've just got started. Obviously, it's been slightly affected with us not being able to get off farm onto other people's to meet, but we've managed to keep going with online meetings and do some soil samples and things. One of the challenges that we'd quite like Leaf to help us with is finding premiums in products. So obviously, as we've said, we're focusing on a lot of arable crops that are just a commodity, but where can we get the most out of them? So one of the new crops that we brought onto the farm that wasn't on before was winter oats, and we're targeting the milling sector here and trying to get a £10 a tonne premium above what you would normally get, which is key.
Yeah, and obviously you need a lot of machinery, a lot of kit, and as new entrants, you know, capital's not always available. So we're very lucky that my family farm only 5 miles away, and we've sort of set up a share farm agreement with my dad to sort of use his machinery. You know, we'll work on the farm, you know, I do the IACS consult and, you know, help manage it in return for sort of sharing the kit. And so we use contractors, you know, mainly for spraying and drilling, but for us to justify buying kit, we'll also, you know, pitch to local farmers, you know, if they want any contracting done, you know, it can help us justify buying that big bit of machinery that's, yeah, would be otherwise out of our reach. So yeah, just moving on to some lessons. We're still very much in our early days. Every day is a school day on the farm, but just we've been on that journey for a year now, and it's just really about, like Ben said, you know, he's not from a farming background, but it's going out and getting that experiences. And I think you can have a lot of qualifications, but it's almost ground truthing them with, you know, practical experience and just really getting out there, getting the hands dirty, you know, and visiting as many farms as possible, and really what works, you know, better there, and, you know, what can you take home and make better. and also ask around and look for opportunities, because not everybody, you know, highlights the opportunities that might be there. You know, you can maybe, you know, approach a farmer. You know, you never know what they're going to say.
Yeah, I would say the main thing is play to your strengths and enjoy it. Like, we probably pride ourselves in asking why. So like when we looked at the tender for the farm that we're on now, it's 154 hectares, which is quite an undertaking. And the immediate thought was, do we need to quit our jobs? And then we asked why. Why can't we use contractors, which aren't a lot more money than buying big bits of kit? And that let us take risk out of the equation a little bit by living off our day jobs, and everything we make on the farm can be reinvested, and we can make that as sustainable as possible. And the second thing would be to just enjoy it. I suppose you can kind of see, like I was talking about sheep earlier, we no longer have sheep and we're trying to grow crops because that's our strength and that's what we enjoy doing. And hopefully we can build our business about it.